Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Rachel Williams begins now.
Tasmania has been blanketed in more snow, with the state shivering through a second day. The conditions made driving treacherous on the Central Plateau, with Highland Lakes Road, Marlborough Road and Powatina Road all closed by police. The Weather Bureau says snow fell to 500 metres in some parts, while the temperature in Lyawini dropped to -3. And more winter chill could be on the way, with a series of cold fronts predicted to cross Tasmania over the next few days, and snow to fall to 500 metres again on Sunday night. Meanwhile, festival goers braved the mud, the rain and the cold last night to experience the first night of the Huon Valley Midwinter Fest. In true Tasmanian style, thousands rugged up and turned up as the traditional pagan ceremony took place prior to the burning of festival icon Big Willie. Is running again tonight and has a Children's Day tomorrow. They once played soccer in refugee camps, but now some of Bhutan's best behind the ball have come to Tasmania. For the migrant community, the Bhutanese Interstate Championships are as big as the World Cup.
There's not a lot of rivalry among former refugees, but don't expect the soccer pitch to stay quiet for too long. It's the 8th year of the Bhutan Interstate Soccer Championships. This time it's Tasmania's turn to host. The contest has its origins when the game was played at refugee camps in Nepal.
It became a great part of our life, because every year there used to be like inter-refugee camp soccer tournament.
11 years after settling in Launceston, soccer is a tradition that carries on. Although just reaching the goalie today was a tough slog. The Hobart-Launceston match resembled a slip and slide before remaining games were moved from Fawkner to Churchill Park. Even players who didn't make it through to the semi-finals couldn't tear themselves away from the action.
It's like a World Cup for us, where we gather from all the states and celebrate.
And fingers crossed a future Socceroo or Matilda could be in their ranks.
In like next 10 to 15 years, some of the players might be able to like really experience enough to hold such a the state level Socceroos as well. So yeah.
Sean McComish, 7 Tasmania News.
If you love sitting behind the wheel of a Citroen, Hobart was the place to be today. Fumes from the French icon filled the air as devotees gathered to celebrate a century on the road.
Revving up the engine in a petrol head's paradise. This rare 1973 Citroen Maserati, just one of 30 vehicles out on display today in a showcase of a century's worth of motoring history for Bastille Day.
Today we're celebrating 100 years of Citroen. We have a lot of examples of Citroen cars here on display from the early 20s right through to modern vehicles.
The oldest machine on show dating back to 1927 and with a max speed of just 70 kilometres per hour.
It's a 1927 Citroen B14. Been restored quite a few years ago and it's running a little 4-cylinder engine. Pretty advanced car for 1927.
It's slow by any standards, but it's got a lot of style.
The fueled-up event revealing some quirks and unique suspension features in the restored beasts, while exploring the French company's mark in Tasmania.
The first vehicle to travel around Australia was a Citroen back in 1924, and in Tasmania there was a half-track vehicle, which is like a tank, with a modern motor vehicle front on it that travelled up to Cradle Mountain.
A historical timeline on wheels. Ruby Kamain, 7 Tasmania News.
It's described as an equaliser and its popularity is rising. Wheelchair Aussie Rules puts players into a fast and physical world on the court, which more Tasmanians are keen to try their hand at.
It's tough and it's rough. This is a game not for the faint-hearted. These players are determined daredevils on wheels.
It's the greatest sport on wheels.
They're playing Wheelchair Aussie Rules, a game played nationally, but we can claim the fame it was developed in Hobart in 2013. Matches indoors, such as here today at Moona Sports Centre. There's 5 to a side and touch replaces tackle.
A handball becomes a kick and an underarm pass becomes a handball. Marking is the same, you just catch it off the handball.
The game's open to all people living with or without a disability, even former Tasmanian premiers.
And a great feeling of camaraderie out there with everyone, whether they're playing with a disability or in a chair for the first time like me, and it is fantastic fun.
Oh, the wheelchair's a great equaliser, I say.
Joe has been in a wheelchair since an accident a decade ago, but that hasn't stopped him. He now plays for a Victorian team.
To play an elite level in a chair, fantastic opportunity.
His passion rubbing off, his partner Kirby now plays too. A solid match on and off the court.
It's one of my favourite sports in the world. It is just fun and everyone is equal.
There's around 20 players here in Tasmania, but Paraquat is opening the door to everyone to give it a go.
And if you want to play socially, that's great. You want to play nationally, it's better. So yeah, the opportunity's there.
Louise Hedger, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmanians have once again dug deep for the Give Me 5 for Kids appeal. Buckets were filled with silver and gold coins ahead of this afternoon's Hawks and Dockers match at UTAS Stadium. Even youngsters gave up their time for the cause.
Helps kids who have problems, like when they have cancer or other diseases, but it can help them raise money. We can raise money and they can help treatment.
All funds raised goes towards supporting children in Tasmanian hospitals. And 13,006 people watched Hawthorn record a 31-point win at the game.
Hawthorn has powered to victory over Fremantle in Launceston. Despite Nat Fyfe's 3-goal haul, the Hawks were simply too good, winning by 31 points.
With Nat Fyfe off injured after Freo's goalless first term, the Hawks looked set for a cruisy day. It would be anything but. Fyfe returned from treatment and went bang.
They can't wait to the dance, but at least they're now dancing.
And that was just the start.
Oh. This is brilliant.
He was even in defence.
Fyfe gets back and touched it on the line. He's doing it at both ends.
With the gap back to 8 at the half, the Hawks had plenty to discuss, as did Ross Lyon. And on return, the Hawks put their foot on the pedal.
Put the ballet step on him and rolled it through.
Errors proved costly for Freo.
And 50, so this will bring him within range.
And it delivered.
Kicks an absolute gem.
Enough to ensure a Hawthorn victory.
Puts a ribbon on it.
A happy team and a happy return for Grant Birchall after 720 days out.
They really come at us in the middle part of the game there, so to come back and respond like we did was really pleasing.
Matt Thompson, 7 News.
Kingborough pulled off perhaps the biggest win in the club's history, downing the reigning premier North Launceston by 3 goals. Launceston has entered the top 3 with an emphatic win over Glenorchy, while Lauderdale brushed aside North Hobart.
Only the true black and gold believers would have given the Tigers any hope of rolling the mighty Northern Bombers, seldom challenged in the State League. But this cold day at Twin Ovals produced something of a miracle as Trent Bombella's men put in the fight of their lives. They stunned the reigning premier with a powerful performance, validating the club as a true finals contender. Taylor Whitford fought hard for the Bombers with 3 goals, but this day belonged to the Tigers. It would be another upset at KG5 and with big implications. As Launceston blew away Glenorchy in the battle for 3rd on the TSL ladder, it could see the Blues take the coveted double chance come September. Dylan Riley bagged 5, Mitch Thorpe and Alec Wright 3, amounting to an enormous and unexpected 89-point win. And a bone-jarring crunch left Josh McGuinness reeling. The club will no doubt miss the key player and will be waiting to learn the extent of injuries. In better news for Lauderdale, it kicked 5 goals in the second term and never looked back. The side is now 2 wins clear of North Launceston on the ladder.
King Island's Stewart McSwain has smashed his Tasmanian 1500 metres record again at the Diamond League in Monaco. He clocked a time of 3 minutes 31 seconds, making him the 2nd fastest Australian of all time over that distance. The wet weather in Hobart didn't put the brakes on. Around 60 drivers hitting a slippery track at Baskerville today. Day one of the weekend-long Baskerville 1000 began today, following the inaugural summer event in February. Drivers racing cars worth around $1,000 to encourage more people to take up the sport professionally.
And that's what we're about, is creating the next group of fanatics, basically. So, yeah, if all of these people went motor racing, proper motor racing, that'd be mission accomplished.
Motor action kicks off tomorrow morning at Baskerville Raceway from 10:15.
Good evening. A beautiful shot of snow covered Mount Wellington as we look at today's temperatures. 13 in Launceston, Burnie 10, 11 in Devonport and Hobart reaching 9. Other centres today, 13 at St Helens, Strawn and Smithton both reaching 10, 7 in Grove and Ouse and 12 at Flinders Island. On the close-up, cold, showery clouds are moving into the western and southern areas. Further out, cold air lies over the eastern Bight, Victoria, New South Wales and the Tasmanian region, while an onshore flow is causing low-level cloud to bank up along the southern coast of WA and SA. Tomorrow, a cold front will sweep across the state in the morning. The high can also be seen moving east. Westerly winds increasing to 30 to 40 knots tomorrow, swells up to 3 metres in the north and up to 7 metres in the west and south. A severe weather warning is current for damaging winds from early morning across the north coast and Bass Strait Islands, the west and south of the state. A gale warning for all Tasmanian coastal waters and for Storm Bay for southwesterly winds. A strong wind warning remaining southeast inshore waters, a small craft wind alert for the southwest and central plateau lakes, minor flood warnings are current for the Derwent and Meander River basins, a flood watch warning for the northwest and Huon River catchments, a road weather alert for snow on elevated roads throughout Tasmania. A warning to sheep graziers is current for all Tasmanian grazing districts. And finally, a bushwalkers weather alert for Western and Central Plateau forecast districts. Tomorrow's forecast now, Hobart and Richmond a high of 10, 9 in Ouse. A shower or two in Launceston, Devonport 11, 9 in Deloraine. 11 in Burnie and Strawn, Curry 13. 13 in St Helens and Whitemark and Swansea 12. Looking to the 3-day forecast now, Monday, showers about the western, southern and central areas, fine elsewhere. Tuesday, showers through western, southern and central areas, and Wednesday, showers less likely about the east coast. Looking sunny in Perth, Sydney and Brisbane tomorrow and 14 in Melbourne. And on to current temperatures, Hobart 7, partly cloudy, and Launceston and Devonport 7 and clear. That's all in weather tonight. Back to you, Rach.
Thank you very much for that, Jackie. Well, that's all your news for now. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a great evening. See you tomorrow. Good night.